first when you come across me, then I'm like a tigress. I mean, like my claws are out. But the moment I see that, I trust you, you know what you're doing, that's when I become a puppy.
Got a book, right? So it says, never say yes when you want to say no.
A child, he plants the flower, takes care of it, but he never plucks it. Mother asks the child, why are you not plucking the flowers? He says that because I love the flower.
Fragility only comes when two people are not committed to the same cause. तो दोनों को equal effort रखना पड़ेगा.
I had to fight to make my own decisions in life. Career pursue करना था या abroad जाना था और उससे बड़ा career pursue करना था. जब मुझे मेरे खुद के पेरेंट्स से इतना फाइट करना पड़ा है तो इट्स अ बिट डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी टू बिलीव कि आप शादी करने के बाद फ्रीडम आपको प्लेटर में मिल रहा है. अगर उन लोगों को लगता है कि आप जीवन में ठीक कर रहे हो, अगर आपने 25 में शादी कर ली, प्रॉब्ली 28 में बच्चा हो गया, फिर सेकंड बच्चा हो गया, सो it's more like treated as a milestone.
The other day I was telling my friends that guys, I'm getting married. He's like, oh nice, where is Chitrang? And I said, who Chitrang? And they're like, the one you're getting married to.
क्योंकि मैं जर्मनी में भी हूँ और मैं उनका सोशल स्ट्रक्चर देखती हूँ और ऑल्सो ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर देखती हूँ. मैं कंपेयर करूँ, अगर मुझे यहाँ पे काम करना होता, सैक्रिफाइस क्या होता मेरे लिए ज़्यादा, कहाँ होता? Definitely in this society.
If you are adamant that no, yeah, my career is important, then don't have a child.
If my wife is at work, then how will the child be fed?
In my opinion, it's not something wrong. If my partner is up for it, sure. I mean, like, I'd love to pay heed to it.
I don't think so. I mean,
So she's watching again.
नए ज़माने के रिश्ते पुराने वक्त की तुलना में कई ज़्यादा नाजुक है. Relationships today are more fragile than they have ever been.
I think that is true, considering that the time, generation, everything has been evolving so much. And keeping in mind that everything, as in like, I'll give you an example. I don't get a reply, I don't get a message. I get so frenzied that I want to know, okay, what happened? Like, why is he not answering? Why is he not, picking up my calls or, not responding, not replying? Like, I don't know, what is it? I think it's the evolution that has happened in this whole century, in past 1 century. The things have just gone crazy. At the same time, because I am a hopeless romantic, I read novels. I read Jane Austen. And, people who read Jane Austen know that it's just a different form of love that you are reading there, that you're experiencing over there in books and words, that you feel that you need it in today's time as well, with cell phones. So it's very different. And I feel that love has become very fragile because the word love itself is misused so many times that we don't realize when it should be used and when it shouldn't. And very thin line difference between person liking somebody and person loving somebody. There was a story also, I don't know if you guys have heard about it, when a child, he plants the flower and he just takes care of it, but he never plucks it. So a mother asks the child, why are you not plucking the flowers? So he says that because I love the flower. If I would like the flower, I would have easily plucked it and, used it or given it to somebody. So I think it's just that.
मुझे लगता है कि relationships आजकल इतना आसान हो गया है हमारे पास सेल फोन है, एप्स है, फॉर एग्जांपल टिंडर है, बम्बल है, मुझे ये लड़की पसंद नहीं आई, ओके फाइन, दूसरी होगी, तीसरी आएगी, चौथी आएगी। मतलब इतना इजी हो गया है कि आपको कोई कमिटमेंट देने का कोई कंपल्शन नहीं है। ऐसा नहीं है कि मुझे ये ही लड़की पूरी ज़िंदगी मैं पूरी ज़िंदगी उसके साथ ही बिताऊंगा। ऐसा बहुत कम लोग अभी सोचते हैं, क्योंकि थोड़ा भी प्रॉब्लम होता है, इससे अच्छी मुझे मिल सकती है, मैं इस पे क्यों इस पे ही क्यों अटका रहा हूँ। सबको अपना ग्रोथ चाहिए, पर ग्रोथ को मिसअंडरस्टैंड करते हैं लोग कि just by staying together you're not stuck with a person. It's not you both can grow together. It's not like you're stuck with a person. But people nowadays think मैं एक ही लड़की या लड़के के साथ अटक गई।
द बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो आज के टाइम में है, इट इज़ लाइक अ वेरी थिन लाइन ऑफ इट, कि एक गलती हो गई तो चलो ठीक है, अभी तुम तुम्हारे रास्ते, मैं मेरे रास्ते। बिफोर लेट्स से इन रिलेशनशिप और अ मैरिज एज अ होल, तो एक दूसरे को कंप्लीट करते थे, ना ही करेक्ट करते थे। राइट नाउ इट्स मोर अबाउट करेक्टिंग योर पार्टनर rather than completing him or completing his mistake and just fulfilling up. So yeah.
I think to add on to that, what has happened in today's generation is that the whole concept of relationships have changed. Why? Because before, like earlier, compromising was a very normal thing. So both the human beings had to compromise when they were together, no matter what. And I think that is what kept their relationship going. And why we think it is fragile in these days is because we've got lots of options. I think what our parents feel is कि जो हमारे साथ हुआ है वो हमारे बच्चों के साथ नहीं होना चाहिए। तो अगर उनको options मिल रहा है कि they can explore their sexuality, they can explore their partners, or if they're not happy, they can get separated and they can choose their ways. I think that is what has happened. So somewhere I feel, the word fragile could be very subjective in terms of this. That it could be fragile in terms of seeing the relationship in the personal side as well as the part where we say the whole compromising and non-compromising nature.
Yeah, nowadays relationships are like personal interest.
True.
It's like if you are interested for something, you are into a relationship, and when the interest is on a lower side,
Yeah.
it breaks up. Nowadays, that's happening. And our parents, like what you mentioned about the parents, yeah, our parents are in fact compromising till today.
I agree.
Totally agree.
Question then, when you say our parents compromise, would you say the compromise was happening equally from both the ends? Your mom versus dad?
My mom and dad had a love marriage. So,
That's nice.
That's a
In
different
that
case.
era, that's like, wow, yeah.
जो fragility आ रही है relationship में, sometimes it's people think that it's because लड़की compromise नहीं करती. Usually, आज के society में अगर किसी का divorce भी हो रहा है, breakup भी हो रहा है, it's because the girl is not understanding, right? And of course, like you guys mentioned, there's distraction. We have way more options now. It's easier to get happiness from some other place. However, I think हमारी सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम सोसाइटी में है द इनकॉन्ग्रुएंसी, कि हमें रेज किया जाता है एज मॉडर्न किड्स, वी आर सेंट टू लाइक फ्रॉम आवर मास्टर्स अब्रॉड, हम वो सोसाइटी से एक्सपोजर लेके आते हैं, एंड देन वी आर लाइक या इक्वालिटी, गर्ल्स आर टॉट कि नहीं तुम्हें पढ़ा दिया गया है, बट देन व्हाट आफ्टर दैट, आर द वुमेन टॉट हाउ टू बी फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट? तो लड़कियों को उस एजुकेट कर दिया है, पर ये नहीं दिखाया कि इंडिपेंडेंट कैसे बनना है. तो उनके दिमाग में क्या है कि हम तो इंडिपेंडेंट है, हम क्यों बनेंगे, वी हैव द एजुकेशन एंड लड़कों भी guys are also like yeah we are giving you all the freedom in the world, we are allowing you to work, right? तो हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हम मॉडर्न है पर हम एक्चुअली है नहीं. there's incongruency, because of that there's also confusion, और उसकी वजह से हमारे रिलेशनशिप्स में आ जाती है फ्रिजिलिटी एंड वी आर ब्रेकिंग अप नाउ, राइट? दिस इज व्हाट आई थिंक, वी आर नॉट acting what we believe to be, perceiving in our heads.
I understand where you're coming from, but I have a live example with me, and it has never happened between us. Touch wood, that we have, like, I have ever felt that there has been an imbalance in terms of career or in terms of financial independency or anything of that sort, because he has always been motivating that, see, your career comes first, stop pressurizing yourself with societal norms. And I feel that it's not his that वो बोलते हैं हथौड़ा मारता रहता है कि करो करो करो, but I feel somewhere that that support from him motivates me to do more. Like when I started my theater group, my major reason was him, because he motivated me. He heard me that this is the idea, like you should do it, I can get you people around. And it was eventually that, we got together, we fell in love, our parents met, etc. Whatever, the story goes on. But what I feel currently is that even in his family, his mom is financially independent, his father is, his entire family is. So they themselves motivate the children. They do it. Okay? कोई बात नहीं, तुम कहीं पे भी अटक जाओ तो we are there to help you. So I understand where you're coming from, because it is very rare to see such families now, or rare to hear such examples. But touch wood that, I feel that I am in a different setup altogether, because it has always been given a choice to me. It is given a choice whether you want to be financially independent or dependent, but they don't want me to be dependent.
I would like to add to that, like हर एक आदमी का अपना एक्सपीरियंस होता है. ये तो इनका एक्सपीरियंस है, आपका एक्सपीरियंस अलग होगा, पर bottom line, it's not about bottom line, it is about two individuals, how you feel for each other, because the question is about fragility, and fragility only comes when two people are not committed to the same cause.
True.
ये रिलेशनशिप में अगर आपको साथ में रहना है तो दोनों को इक्वल एफर्ट रखना पड़ेगा. इक्वल नहीं तो 60-40 भी चलेगा, 30-70 भी चलेगा, पर ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि 10 या 5% 90% हो. और मेजरली हमारी सोसाइटी में ये होता है क्योंकि हमारी सोसाइटी एक पेट्रियार्कल या मेल डोमिनेंस सोसाइटी है, और मेल डोमिनेंस सोसाइटी में काफ़ी इश्यूज़ आते हैं कि लड़कियों को फ्रीडम नहीं मिलती है, काफ़ी सारी लड़कियों को फ्रीडम नहीं मिलती है. उनको उनका अपब्रिंगिंग उनका अपब्रिंगिंग ये ऐसा होता है कि आपको ये नहीं करना है, आपको वो नहीं करना है, आप ये कर ही नहीं सकती, आपको यहाँ ही रहना है. तो एक बाउंड्री डिफाइन कर दी जाती है, यही है आपकी ज़िंदगी. पर हर एक बंदे को अगर ये बाउंड्री एक्सप्लोर करते हैं तो शायद ये फ्रेजिलिटी ना रहे, क्योंकि ये फ्रेजिलिटी हमारी माइंडसेट से आती है.
I actually had a different perspective than all of y'all, but somewhat you've covered it up. Fragility in a relationship comes where there is ownership. You love someone, however, you do the exact opposite. You try to add ownership. कि वो बोलता ना हक जताना लेकिन कौन से हद तक. That's what it is about. Like, a relationship would be fragile when you bring instances of ownership, and that sort of increases, right? You know, पहले love से हाँ ठीक है उसने बोला मैंने करा या मैंने बोला उसने कर दिया, but somehow I feel today's generation, it's not just the generation, people I have seen in general, that you know love करते करते अचानक से वो ownership वाला element आ जाता है. That's when I feel that a relationship is fragile and it's vulnerable to breaking up.
मैं कमिटमेंट से डरता हूँ. आई एम अफ्रेड ऑफ कमिटमेंट.
यस, कमिटमेंट से डरना बहुत कॉमन हो गया है आजकल, क्योंकि इसके पहले भी एक सवाल आया था कि लोग साथ में क्यों नहीं रहते, क्योंकि ऑप्शन बहुत ज़्यादा है. तो कमिटमेंट का
But it's the opposite for me, because I am not at all afraid of commitment. Like when I'm there, I know I am there, and I'm like 100% there. But you how do I put it? It's all that you see in romantic movies, whatever you see in novels, read novels. I'm all that hopeless romantic. So I'm complete opposite that way. But yeah, for me it's very simple. I'm not at all afraid of commitment. If you're there, no matter it's a relationship or work or whatever, it's just that you're there then. There's no looking back, no turning back.
ये क्लैरिफाई करने के लिए कि ये मैं मेरे रिलेशनशिप के लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. I know.
आई थिंक फॉर मी जब मैं 25 साल की थी तब मैं बहुत डरती थी कमिटमेंट से. एंड आई थिंक दैट वाज बिकॉज मेरे को खुद की अंडरस्टैंडिंग इतनी नहीं थी कि मुझे क्या चाहिए, मैं कौन हूँ, मेरे वैल्यू सिस्टम क्या है, वो सब की इतनी अच्छी पहचान नहीं थी. बट ओवर द ईयर्स नाउ दैट आई अंडरस्टैंड माई सेल्फ बेटर, एंड सोसाइटी की नज़रों में वो शायद ये भी हुआ कि ये बहुत पिकी हो चुकी है, इसके नाटक बहुत है जो वो अरेंज मैरिज के लिए ढूंढते हैं. But what that translates to me is I know better what's good for me. And commitment से डर रही है, पर commitment तक जाने में बहुत टाइम लगता है मुझे, because I'm doing assessing everything and understanding like yes, can I actually go ahead with someone like that? So I think हाँ वो process लंबा है, पर commitment से कोई problem नहीं है.
I have a question. If you are assessing everything, when are you loving?
That's a really good question. And I think loving, for me, love, how it works is, it's not you love at first sight sort of a situation. It's actually like a process where once we have assessed that we've gone through some tough conversations or situations, then I think that's when I get to the point of love. For me, it doesn't happen कि भाई मैंने आपको 1 घंटे में देखा है, I'm like starstruck and I'm like I'm going to put everything aside.
It's basically like a process, right?
It is a process for sure. Yeah. Or assessment.
A process of assessment. You assess, and eventually lead to
yeah, I think
a state of love.
First, when you come across me, then I'm like a tigress. I mean, like my claws are out. But the moment I see that, I trust you, you know what you're doing, and your mind, your heart is where your mind or both align in certain ways. You've proven that. That's when I become a puppy.
I have a question regarding that. So, when you are very critical of someone, right? Are you in the slightest way possible that you are letting go of someone who is who might be nice, but since you are so critical, that person just leaves?
It depends on how you're being critical, right? If I say that there's a difference between being judgmental versus being critical, right? अगर मैं किसी को जज कर लेती हूँ, अगर उन्होंने कुछ मुझे कहा है and I'm like, okay, wow, आप अच्छे इंसान हो या बुरे इंसान हो इसलिए मेरे को नहीं आपसे जमेगा. I think वो अप्रोच होना वर्सेस ये समझना कि हाँ ये आप हो, आप ऐसे इंसान हो, शायद से मेरे वैल्यू सिस्टम वैसे मैच नहीं करते और हमारा लाइन नहीं होएगा. तो इसलिए मैंने कहा कि जब आपको खुद के कोर वैल्यूज समझ में आते हैं, दैट्स व्हेन यू नो कि ये सारी चीज़ों पे, ये दो चीज़ पे तो कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ नहीं होएगा, बाकी सब चीज़ों पे हो सकता है.
Through my experience, I have got a book, right? So it says, never say yes when you want to say no. So like getting in a commitment, you have to compromise, right? But if you feel that on those 2 or 3 points, you cannot agree, then you just say no. Don't go yes. I have experienced this in my life. So when it's no in your heart, but because of some attraction or all this other good points, don't say yes for the commitment.
If it's about our love, I feel like it just happened. It just happened. You don't keep it rational. It happens very irrationally.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot say कि ये अच्छा ही होगा.
ये अच्छा ही होगा. Exactly.
So you have to give it a try.
Give it a try.
Yeah. And when you feel okay, this is the point, this is a big breaking point, just break it.
Break it. Yeah.
Don't prolong it. Don't try to correct
it.
I have experienced that, and I'm saying don't try and correct it. Just break it up.
All right. So having heard all of y'all, I agree that to reach to a commitment, it is a process, and it will differ from person to person.
So you do assess at the end. It's not, or I think it shouldn't just be a leap of faith, because it's like commit कर दिया, उसके बाद you have to make it work. You don't have to, but you will give your best
want
to
to
make it work. पर वो assessment process होना चाहिए कि डूबोगे या मरोगे या क्या survive करोगे.
Impermanence is the only constant. आदमी हमेशा evolve कर रहा है, आदमी हमेशा grow कर रहा है, आदमी हमेशा change हो रहा है. तो आप जो assessment तब लगा रहे थे और जो आने वाला है वो हमेशा leap of faith ही रहेगा.
Would you then say, ठीक है, assessment, because the right question to add in here is कि आप assess क्या कर रहे हो इंसान में, right? So, and which I said कि the value system, right? Would you say then, ठीक है, आपके circumstances change होते रहते हैं, right? Obviously ups and downs or whatever, but आपकी क्या value system हमेशा change होते रहते हैं? Then that's the question. आपके फाउंडेशंस चेंज होते हैं. मैं ये नहीं पूछ रही आपका शायद से आज चाइनीज एशियन कॉन्टिनेंटल इज द योर फेवरेट कुजीन, बट क्या 3 साल बाद जापानीज हो जाएगा, वो बातें हैं, राइट? मैं वो वैल्यू सिस्टम असेस करने की बात करती हूँ, और ये नहीं कि आपके टेस्ट चेंज हो जाएगा, आपकी हॉबीज चेंज हो जाएगी, आपको बाइक चलाना पसंद आ जाएगा नेक्स्ट 3 years में.
I completely get your point, and I am, agreeing to what you're saying. The reason being, what she's trying to say is that the foundation still remains. You don't change, as you do change, but when it comes to your core values, like what you're looking up to, what your major interests are like, they still remain the same.
I beg to differ that even that changes over the period of time.
शादी व्यक्तिगत स्वतंत्रता छीन लेती है. मैरिज टेक्स अवे पर्सनल फ्रीडम. ओनली मैरिज? सॉरी,
Relationship also.
I mean, क्या सोचते हैं freedom क्या है? That depends a lot.
True.
Like, हाँ, आप उसको क्या मतलब घूमना फिरना is your freedom, and going out with someone else like your wife is not freedom. वो it's perspective, like how you see it. freedom है, बहुत freedom है. I am having lot of freedom in my life.
That's amazing.
हाँ.
Yeah, just to
Maybe because she's going to watch this.
No. No, usually I do what I feel like.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean, nothing stops me. Like if bike rides, right? I used to do a lot of bike rides. I used to go out for 15 days for bike rides. Okay, but now I'm not going anymore. Because now the priorities have changed in my life. So a lot of things, lot of your interest changes every time gradually. Like, you know, now I'm not riding bikes for months. It's just lying. So वो कैसा है कि वो भी फ्रीडम ही है ना. बाकी आप जनरली इफ यू लोग ना बोलते हैं ना इट्स टू रिस्की.
I think that's mutual understanding. If there's mutual understanding, then there is
freedom
word
doesn't
freedom
mean
doesn't
but
exist
freedom doesn't mean that you are doing everything bad for the relationship.
I'd like to interrupt at the risk of going personal, and you can tell me to shut up if I'm too personal. Would your wife say the same?
Yeah. You can ask her. Personally. Yeah.
I think extending to his point, like since we were intervened with that question, like about the wife thing. So speaking from a female perspective, I don't think any point in our relationship was like I had to ask. You know, asking is where we see freedom diminishing, right? कभी भी ऐसा नहीं हुआ है like you know मैंने पूछा है. In fact, if it sounded that I'm asking for a permission, the response would always be like तने पूछવાની શું જરૂરત છે? તું કરને જાને જેમ મન ફાવે તે. It is just that what we have with each other is like just inform.
Can we extend the meaning of freedom beyond going out and all those trivial things? You know, a genuine freedom.
So,
let's talk about that.
So the particular work opportunities type and all also what we've had is like you've been motivating each other, right? He's done that for you. I've had a very similar thing with my partner wherein he'd be like, नहीं तने आ तारू cloud kitchen करवो छे तो करनी. I'll help you. In fact, that's always been there. Apart from that, like I've seen a transition in my current role where I'm working as well. I've been offered a leadership position. तो एमा भी हाँ तो શું કામ ના પાડે છે તું કરને. So that also is some correlation with freedom.
I think the concept of freedom goes again back to our parents, and you know, the whole older generation, because we got this concept of freedom in a relationship from them. We discussed it, our parents discussed it, we discussed it with them, we gave them a perspective that there's something beyond, you know, giving each other freedom. I think, you know, because you might be able to relate this, like, you know, when you're trying to assess somebody, as you were pointing out, I think that checklist that generally we keep in our mind when we are going to meet somebody, we keep this thing in mind as well, that what is the other person's ideology when they're considering their partner to be like. So I think there it plays a bigger role when we're trying to understand the whole concept of freedom given to them by their parents, like the opposite person's parents and their parents.
I think it's super hard for me to believe कि मेरी खुद की तो शादी हुई नहीं है तो मुझे पता नहीं है. So I'll speak from the other side where I feel it's super difficult to believe कि शादी जैसा concept जहाँ पे इंडिया में females they go to their husband's house, उसमें freedom का प्रॉब्लम इशू नहीं है, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है मैं बिना शादी के अपने फ्रीडम के लिए कितना लड़ा है. तो शादी में बिकॉज आई हैड टू फाइट टू मेक माई ओन डिसीजंस इन लाइफ, चाहे मुझे करियर परस्यू करना था या अब्रॉड जाना था और उससे बड़ा करियर परस्यू करना था. जब मुझे मेरे खुद के पेरेंट्स से इतना फाइट करना पड़ा है तो इट्स अ बिट डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी टू बिलीव कि आप शादी करने के बाद वो फ्रीडम आपको प्लेटर में मिल रहा है.
But life is full of surprises, you never know.
ये आपका एक्सपीरियंस है, राइट?
Yeah.
तो
इसलिए मैंने कहा कि
sometimes you feel कि आपको फ्रीडम नहीं मिलने वाला है. but it changes over the time. और कई काफ़ी relationship में आपको ऐसा लगता है कि I have my freedom, right? But that changes. That also changes. आपको नहीं मिलती है जहाँ पे आपको see, you cannot decide कि यही होने वाला है और ऐसा ही होगा, and you cannot move ahead. If you want to like a person, move ahead and don't think about freedom. आपको मालूम है ना आपकी वो बंदा कैसा है या बंदी कैसी है, तो if you are okay with it, like you go ahead. और freedom automatically, if you like him or her, तो आपको freedom मिल रही है, then only you like him or her.
But I think also freedom is directly proportionate to how ambitious you are also in life.
True.
अगर आपको जो कपड़े पहनने हैं, जो ये यूजुअली सोसाइटी में डिस्कस होता है कि मुझे जो कपड़े पहनने हैं मुझे पहनने दे रहे हैं, मैं कितनी आई हैव द फ्रीडम टू मेक चॉइसेस, राइट? वो उसके बियॉन्ड अगर आपको जाना है एक स्टेप, एंड यू आर लाइक आई वांट टू बी एबल टू चूज इफ आई वांट टू हैव अ बेबी और नो. I want to be able to choose if my work takes me, let's say, abroad for 2 months or 6 months in a year's time. I have the freedom to make these choices. मैं कपड़ों की बात की freedom नहीं बोल रही, मैं ये नहीं बोल रही कि मुझे किचन में काम करना पड़ेगा या नहीं करना पड़ेगा. So you understand, like that's why I say freedom is directly proportionate to the ambitions that you have in your mind for yourself.
People who are in, let's say, relationship or marriage, if until and unless if you decide your me time and your we time, like when you should be alone and how much time you should spend with your partner, I feel like there won't gonna be any issue. And for me, I haven't faced those kind of issue being a single. So yeah,
I totally agree with this. I totally agree.
Yeah.
With this. Because in a relationship, it is very important to segregate your me time and we time, as you said.
Yeah.
Because giving we time is very important.
Important.
And, I mean, it's not like it's very important, but it's like you want to, because that is the only reason why you are in the relationship.
Together.
Yeah. So I completely agree with your point. That's true.
शादी overrated है. Marriage is overrated.
I think society overrates it. However, the two individuals who are bond in that concept, like, of marriage, who take up on that journey, वो लोग इतना नहीं करते जितना परिवार या सोसाइटी कर लेती है. Like, hype करना किसी चीज़ का. And then I think somewhere in the conversation we did mention कि, like, जैसे दो individuals की शादी नहीं हो रही, परिवार की शादी हो रही है, परिवारों की. I feel परिवार वाले और सोसाइटी कर देती है इतना.
I don't care if we call it overrated, but I think it is good that it is overrated so that we get these thoughts. I don't know, I feel very happy. Like I'll tell you one small example. The other day I was telling my friends that, guys, I'm getting married. He's like, oh, nice, where is Chitrang? And I said, who Chitrang? And they're like, the one you're getting married to. I said, okay, yeah, that's him. So there is a high possibility that we do consider the wedding event as overrated. But marriage together, it's not overrated. It's just how you build that, how you keep building the relationship. Because that's what you have to, not have to, but that's how you're going to survive for at least next few years. And eventually, yes, things work out, things don't work out, they might fall apart. That's a completely different story. But when you're there and together, you are a team, you are together, and you make it work no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
Are you agreeing? Because she's just here.
I totally agree with what Krishna says. I think, marriages are overrated, and I'm going to stop at that.
Can you use them? Everything use them.
Rational.
So I can ask you this. Do you think marriages are overrated or wedding events are overrated? Or both?
Both.
But why?
Well, I mean, marriage is two people coming together. Why does it need to really have like 100 people, 200,000, 10,000 people?
as a single person who's facing the society right now and also facing the brunt of not being married, I would say it is highly overrated in my eyes because आज अगर मैं किसी को बोल दूँ कि मैं अपनी लाइफ में खुश हूँ, I love my job, I love the freedom that I have, I'm financially, social, in every way possible, I'm independent and this is where I wanted to be in life at this, this was the goal. और मैं बहुत खुश हूँ, फिर भी कोई मानेगा नहीं. अगर मैं सोसाइटी में वॉक करूँगी then still they'll have that look in the eye. 29 and not married. क्या हो गया?
Society has a timeline, right?
So I think marriage now has become like a milestone. अगर उन लोगों को लगता है कि आप जीवन में ठीक कर रहे हो, अगर आपने 25 में शादी कर ली, probably 28 में बच्चा हो गया, फिर second बच्चा हो गया, so it's more like treated as a milestone and not as a source of happiness. I think we are going full circle then, back to the first question. Yeah, so I think in that sense, कोई भी चीज़ अगर आपकी खुशी से ज़्यादा rating में आती है, तो I think it is overrated, right?
Yeah, I agree.
It is actually overrated, yes. The reason, the reason is just that it's a process of an evolution. Like two humans are coming together and that society evolution is keep on going. And nowadays we made it a sort of inertia that you have to do it. Now it's the time, like if not now, then when? So yeah, it is a sort of an overrated thing. Even the wedding events, which we talk about, and even apart from that, the peer pressure, I would say, being in marriage even, and if you are single, then getting married even. So yeah, it is a sort of a very, very overrated thing, I would say. So keep it as it is. Don't try to complicate it. Don't try to overhype it.
See, all your opinions, I completely respect that. However, somewhere I feel, marriage as an institution, if you are in there, then just be there. If you're not there, then don't care about what people are going to say. Just be with yourselves and be happy. I mean, ठीक है, अगर आंटी ने पूछा कि बेटा शादी क्यों नहीं होंगी, तो बोल दो ना कि मैं खुश हूँ. आप खुश नहीं हो, तुम आपके लिए दूसरा लड़का ढूंढते. But so when I feel that, if people are not happy seeing you happy, then just let them be. You be you enjoy your life, and yeah.
Questions will be forever.
Yeah, but somewhere down the line, it gets annoying, right? When everyone asks you the same question, it becomes monotonous.
Once you get married, you people, so there will be another pressure for you.
So that's there's always that next question.
Yeah.
Ab kya? Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
make sure that
Anitya, change is the only constant, bro.
I just feel that when we come to that stage where we are, we have achieved that 30,
milestone.
40s or 50s,
that
we
milestone.
should not pressurize it on our kids or on the kids that we have seen grow. I think that's the only thing.
ओपन मैरिज को नॉर्मलाइज कर देना चाहिए. ओपन मैरिजेस शुड बी नॉर्मलाइज्ड.
Then what's the point? What's the point of a marriage?
Maybe it's like if you both are getting bored of seeing each other, then you want to spice it up or something like that. Maybe.
I don't think so. I mean,
She's watching again. I think it just completely the whole point of marriage is then gone, and you just completely demeaning the whole idea of marriage. I think that's what I feel. Because marriage, what is a marriage? Marriage is basically you can't define it actually. It's just like two people coming together because they want to spend their life with each other. If at a point you are bored with each other, you're done with each other, then there is a way out of it. That's a divorce. I don't feel like a concept like open marriage should be encouraged because you never know what's going on with the other person. Like as a partner, you would be like, yeah, cool, I am up for open marriage. And the other person might even agree to it. But that person might be having feelings.
But this thing, I mean, sorry.
No, please.
This is what even you can relate to freedom. I mean, people would relate this as on for the freedom, right? एक ये भी point आवे, वो एक ऐसा भी point आएगा कि this is also freedom.
Yeah, I
Open
agree.
marriage. It's the same question.
I agree, but how I relate freedom with is mutual understanding. And open marriage, if you try to manipulate the whole idea of marriage, then I don't think it is good enough to even call it that. Like, then why are you even getting married? Just be in a live-in relationship, and there you can agree on terms of being in an open relationship.
But open marriages का एक ये भी है कि not for sex, but if you are having a relationship with a female, like if I'm having a friend, so उसको भी open marriages के साथ interlink कर सकते हैं?
नहीं, it's more like a...
But she's a friend. I mean, she's a quite nice, good friend. And your wife knows about it. तो उसको open marriage relationship में...
All right, let me clarify what open marriage means so that we are all on the same page. Open marriage essentially means that either of the partners, both the partners, either of them are allowed completely to find a sexual or emotional partner outside of marriage.
But इन्हें अपने freedom भी कही सकें. Like moreover, the couples today are taking this. I mean, they want this freedom.
Yeah.
I think the purpose of open marriage is to allow the freedom to your partner to find their happiness emotionally or sexually outside the relationship. So that's the purpose it serves. Now, where do you guys stand on it?
I'm anti-open marriage.
Anti as well.
Yeah, same.
So I just give, I would say, a rational shade of life. See, open marriage is just a sort of a westernized thing. And as we try to transition ourselves to, let's say, our Indian culture, to Western culture, because that is a sort of what we are seeing every day, what we are watching every day. If we open up the TV, that is going on. If we open up, let's say, Instagram, ये यहाँ पे जा रहा है, ये कर रहा है, वो कर रहा है. So we are having a lots of influence, and this is just one of them. And we try to, copy it, or we try to share it with our partner. So it's like influence itna बढ़ गया है that our mind is keep on being rational and keep on thinking, हाँ ये चीज़ हो रही है ना, I should do it. ये चीज़ हो रही है ना, I should do it. So it's just that. It's nothing but a sort of a concept which came in the exclusion. And I would say once the transition will get over, or otherwise once we as a society will come on the page, no, the adaptation which we are trying to do is somewhat wrong, or the adaptation which we are trying to do is somewhat right, then the whole chapter will get closed and book will get finished.
Okay, I have a question. What do you guys think about extramarital affairs? कितना होता है हमारे society में, हमारे देश में? बहुत होता है?
Yeah.
तो उसमें क्या होता है? एक partner actually अपने relationship से बाहर जाकर
कर रहा है, हाँ, there is
right?
open
छुपा के कर रहा है, right?
Yeah.
उसके पैरेलल आप ओपन मैरिज रख रहे हैं जहाँ पर आपके पार्टनर को एक्चुअली पता है कि आप ये सब कर रहे हो.
तो ऐसे कितने लोग हैं?
वही क्या बेटर है, क्या बेटर है, आपको पता है कि वैसे भी ये तो चल ही रहा है.
Exactly.
एटलीस्ट आपका पार्टनर आपको आके बताएगा
Honestly.
मेरी ये नीड्स है, because also like let's put this in a circumstantial like scenario, right? We all go through crazy hormonal changes. Women and men, different phases आते हैं. Maybe there's a phase where your partner is not sexually that active. They're not in the space mood, whatever. But you're also going through some changes in your system, right? तो वो शायद से बोले कि हाँ, this is my human need, what do I do? They can have a conversation with you and you can be like, okay, probably I know you will love me regardless, right? And maybe if you find happiness somewhere outside, they agree to it, right? तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे आपने बोला कि एक नया सिस्टम, नया वर्ड है, यस इट इज़ अ न्यू वर्ड, पर ये कोई सिस्टम, ये नई चीज़ नहीं है. हमारी सोसाइटी में एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर्स होते ही हैं.
पहले से generations.
अब लोग बोल रहे हैं कि इसको कंसेंट लेकर करिए, राइट?
Trying
पहले
to
cheat कर दी
keep
करो.
that thing in the definition.
ऐसे.
It's a very matured way of putting it out, and I really appreciate that. But the outcome of that is very different, and it will vary from person to person. And that individually, like if you ask me, I would be completely against it.
Right.
Whatever your needs are, as you said, talk it out. Talk it out and then come to a particular conclusion and then form a decision based on that, rather than, just doing it without talking it out. As you said,
So
talking is very important.
So you would agree that open marriages would be much better than extramarital affair, right?
Somewhere, yes, but I am not up for that.
I do think that you don't get into a relationship saying कि भाई मेरे को open marriage चाहिए 10 साल बाद.
I
right?
agree.
10 साल बाद क्या होता है? I mean,
Circumstances.
you need to have the open mind.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that get into some relationship with the mindset, but at least open dialogue, communication होना चाहिए.
Who made marriage as a norm? We made this norm. So why isn't open marriage also a norm? Like, why is it like, oh, open marriage? Why is it such a taboo? If people are fine with it, it's fine.
So the point is not that it's a taboo. The point is that would you as an individual be up for it or not?
I, as an individual, would be up for it. No, if you're asking my honest opinion, yeah.
Yeah. And I really respect that.
Yeah. But I'm not going to tell you that yes, because I have a positive opinion of it. You have to tag along with it, or we have to do that, or I have to do that. I can have an opinion, which
Exactly.
I don't have to fulfill.
I agree.
It's not something wrong. In my opinion, it's not something wrong. If my partner is up for it, sure, I mean, like, I'd love to pay heed to it. But on an individual level, if you would have asked me this, not right now, but maybe 5 years back, I'd be like, no. ये like बहुत गलत चीज़ है. शादी ही क्यों करना है तो? The concept is good. It is welcoming. And like you clearly pointed out, like, instead of having those hush-hush extramarital affairs, like, why not give it a thought to have an open marriage instead?
I mean, it's not a prenup that you're having, right? Like, okay, I commit to you for hearts. I commit to you for spending this much amount of time together. I mean, what is that commitment?
Commit to staying with you.
Staying with you, right? But that doesn't mean that you are, you cannot have other sexual partners, for example. Is that a commitment? No, like I'm asking you a question as well.
So essentially, the difference that we are trying to create between a marriage and an open marriage is that marriage, by definition, is supposed to be sacred, right? Two people coming together and building a life together, that has been there since the beginning of time, and that approach to marriage has really helped humanity thrive so far. I think the society is healthy because of that. On the other hand, open marriage allows you to have the freedom to go outside the marriage and seek comfort elsewhere, right? So which makes that kind of marriage more functional than dedication and commitment. So I think that's the difference between marriage and open marriage. So my question again is, do you think marriage should be sacrosanct, or should we evolve the definition of marriage?
I feel like marriages before you marry, you should make a pact. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, that you make a pact that these are the things that you want to do together. These are the things that you might be open for. It's like a prenup, basically. I think you should have that, and that will clarify the problem of. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to answer that question. In future, what if I want to have an open marriage? Like, it's something you cannot. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of confused on this one.
I feel like we also need to think about like what is pure, what makes something a
Exactly,
relationship
right?
pure versus not, right? Because for me, dishonesty in a relationship would be a more of impurity than
Open marriage.
yeah, like if you go behind my back,
Yeah, consensual.
Consensual.
consensual,
Exactly.
right? So I mean, if somebody lies to me, betrays me, my trust, I think that would be more of an impurity in my relationship than anything else. So, really, what makes your relationship so pure?
Okay, today you committed to this person. For example, for 5 years, you're like, you are having the best time of your life with this person. You trust this person completely, right? All of a sudden, you wake up and you know your mind is just like whatever. It is thinking something today, tomorrow it is thinking something else. Tomorrow, just the next morning, the person sitting or sleeping right next to you is just like, why am I even with this person? Right? And that thought carries on for long.
In any sort of relationship, whether it's marriage or not, a relationship remains pure only through conversations, only through opening up with your partner so that they're able to express. When you have that platform, that area where you're able to express yourself freely, I don't think there's anything to stop you from a break. Not sorry, I put it the wrong way. But I don't think there's anything that will come in your way during that relationship. It will be just there. Then it's pure. Then it'll be healthy.
I think going back to the question of like, should we define or should we redefine the whole concept of marriage? I think it's a brilliant question because जैसे आपने point किया कि divorce rates बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, probably that's also because लोगों की understanding जो शादी होनी चाहिए वो सिर्फ जो शादी हो रही है वो बहुत different है और उनको ऐसा लग रहा है कि okay something is really wrong with our marriage, but probably क्योंकि हमने वो marriage का definition evolve नहीं किया है, because we know times people evolve and we need to also evolve definitions accordingly. So क्या हमने नहीं evolve किया है और इसी वजह से क्योंकि again we are incongruent in our belief system versus हम जो action करते हैं इसकी वजह से ये divorce हो रहा है. I don't know.
बच्चों के लिए अपने करियर का त्याग नहीं किया जा सकता. I will not sacrifice my career for kids.
Yeah, maybe someone would do that.
I think that's again from person to
person
person.
to person.
As in a person.
This is a personal question. This is
Yeah.
addressed directly at you
Yeah.
guys.
So it's very experiential based. As in me personally, how would I want to project the whole idea of my career in front of my child? Based on the experiences that I have had in my life when I was growing up, I would have different opinion altogether. At the same time, a person who have been brought up in a family which has been more of a career-oriented family. For instance, let's say there is a family in which the mother is a doctor and she has raised 2 girls. So once the girl has achieved that phase in which she's going to have a child, she herself chooses to give up the career of being an architect and focus on the child because she has missed out on the attention that her mother gave her during that phase when she required it. So for me, I don't know. If I think I can balance it out, I'll have to experiment it. because I will be witnessing myself as the first or as one of those mothers who is pursuing the career as well as taking care of the child for the first time. Because my mom was never a career-oriented person. She is a housewife. So I don't know. It is based on an individual how they would want to balance it out. It again comes back to the relationship where the father agrees that, yeah, okay, you know what, you give yourself some time and focus on your career, I'll look after the child, or vice versa. Depends. There should be a mutual agreement over there. Or there are options, obviously. If you are rich enough, you can afford a nanny or some outsourced person to take care of your child, then why not? But personally, I think a child would require more of the parents' affection and attention than an outsourced person. So it depends. I would wish to experiment myself as a mother and a career-oriented person and then figure out whether I'm able to handle both. If not, then yes, I would give up my career to me with my child because you have a life in your hands. So
Yeah, I mean, you cannot experiment with a child, right? Like, I mean, once you have a child, you have a child.
yes,
It's
but
not-
you're experimenting with yourself to figure out whether you will be able to give that much time and space and attention to the child and career both. If you know, you figure out within a month, 2 months time,
Now, what if you're not?
then you give up the career and you give your time to child.
It
the
depends on
child.
person to person.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
It
makes
depends on
sense.
every person, every situation.
And I
I
don't
think-
think I would. Sorry, please.
I think it's the society that pushes you to sacrifice your career. It's not the child. Hopefully, for most of the cases, having a child is an intentional act, right? So you are getting into it, not knowing everything that's going to happen, but quite a bit of what to expect, right? But क्योंकि मैं जर्मनी में भी हूँ और मैं उनका सोशल स्ट्रक्चर देखती हूँ और ऑल्सो ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर देखती हूँ, उनमें कितने बेनिफिट्स है वर्सेस मैं कंपेयर करूँ अगर मुझे यहाँ पे काम करना होता, सैक्रिफाइस क्या होता मेरे लिए ज़्यादा, कहाँ होता, डेफिनेटली इन दिस सोसाइटी, राइट? वहाँ पे इट्स अ गिवन थिंग दैट यू हैव टू, इफ यू बिकम अ मदर, you have
To take leave.
at least 2 years
Yes.
Yeah,
to
you get
yourself
paid.
and they are paid.
Yeah.
They are paid, right? और वो सब लेते हैं. यहाँ पे मार्केट इतना competitive है कि आज अगर मैं 2 साल घर पे बैठ गई without, I mean, I could also strategically tackle it by working on other skills and making myself like more useful. But अगर मैं 2 साल घर पे यहाँ पे बैठ गई, the market is not waiting for me. There are 10,000 other people better than me for that same position. So is the child making me sacrifice, make those sacrifices? Not really. The society is not that conducive. And that's what's making me make those sacrifices.
Yeah, but then again, that would be a choice, right? Whether to stick to what society is asking you to do or what you wish to do personally. So, as he said, that my choices are not defined by what society is expecting me to do, but it is my personal choice. So, if you are there, you're right, the market is not going to stop. There are other people who are going to take over. But it would be again very situational. What if you have a partner who is able to afford things or, who is just able to afford the living? Then maybe you could take a choice. Like maybe you could give it a thought that, yeah, I could. But if you are adamant that, no, yeah, my career is important, then don't have a child. And if you have a child, give it to somebody who would actually take care of it. I think it's very harsh, but that's a bit practical.
Also,
Very harsh. Sorry.
also, career is not like you can have career in different fields, right? And every career has its span. If you decide to take up a challenge, I would say, of a child, then after the child is old enough and you don't have to pay enough attention to the child, you can again find a career for yourself. It's, I mean, of course, back when you decide, the market would be a lot different. It will take you about 6 months to adjust or learn a new skill, maybe even less or maybe more, and you can again get back into it. It depends on you if you want to have a child, because this is not directly related to.
I have a question for the men.
Yeah, sure.
Would you sacrifice and be at home for 2 years for your child? Sacrifice your career, whatever you're doing, nothing doing, you have to be at home and you have to take care of the child, the house, everything. Would you do it?
Right now, if you ask me, I won't do it.
If you ask, firstly, I would not even like to have a child. Secondly, if I have to have a child, and if let's say, if for example my wife is doing really well at her work, and if I am not doing really well at my work, then I will be willing to take up that responsibility. But it depends. It's like a cumulative effort, right? It depends on who is going to be able to not supply, but what's the word?
Fulfill,
Fulfill
provide.
the financial needs or requirements. I think that is.
Yeah, okay. My work allows me to stay at home.
Yeah.
But, I mean, right now, I don't think that I'll be staying home.
But
Because
if
right
there is
now-
a situation,
Yeah,
see,
if-
having a child is a
but see,
one-time
when,
experience.
When we had a child,
Yeah.
at that time, if the situation was such, like what is said,
Yeah.
I would have done that. I would have taken. But if you ask me right now, I don't want to make things feel good. So I won't do it right now.
Okay.
एक और follow-up question and very honestly answer. हाँ, जब ये question पूछा गया था, आपके दिमाग में ये question में आपकी significant other आई थी या आप खुद आए थे कि मैं कर सकता हूँ, या you're thinking of क्या मेरी wife उसे करना चाहिए या नहीं? You will have to sacrifice your career for the child. तो जब आपने
No,
ये
I
question
never thought
समझा,
about myself. The reason is, if I'm at work, if my wife is at work, then how will the child be feeded? So that is very compulsion.
True.
For 9 months, mother's milk.
True.
A father could not supply.
True. That is a very, very important point, because the initial stage of development demands the mother to be with the child until. I mean, now there are technological advancements, and mothers are storing mother's milk in bottles, and they are supplying that as well. But initially it is easier for the child if the mother is there, because
अभी
she
मैं
can
phase
feed.
और stage की बात नहीं कर रही, मैं बस बोल रही हूँ कोई भी टाइम पे 2 साल आप अपने child के लिए घर पे रहेंगे.
Huh? Definitely.
Right. But see, I've also seen mothers actually not taking care of her child, even she is not working.
Yeah,
All right. So
that is
in
true.
that
I
situation,
agree. I've seen that as well.
And the caretaker takes care of the child. I think the child don't even know कि उसकी माँ कौन सी है. I am seeing a live example
Yeah.
of someone.
To share my perspective, I see my career as my child, because I worked joined started working at an early age, but then I've added those extra efforts from my side. How you work on the child, you provided nourishment, you take care of it, etc., whatnot. I feel my career is the very same thing for me, and emotionally, mentally, call it whatever you may, I am not prepared to give up on that child जिसको मैंने इतने साल दिए. Right? It could be very easy for some कि ठीक है अभी, in a moment you say fine, I'm giving up my career, but no, for me it's a hard no. You asked me to take a break, ठीक है 6 महीना 9 महीना मैं शायद सोचूं, but to give up, to sacrifice entirely, I will not do it,
But it's just a matter of 2 years.
For your child.
irrespective.
Okay.
I will not.
हम आशा करते हैं कि आपको ये शो पसंद आएगा. अगर आपको ये शो पसंद आता है तो प्लीज़ ज़रूर लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब कीजिए वाणी को, और प्लीज़ वो नोटिफिकेशन बेल दबा दीजिए ताकि अगला हर वीडियो आप तक ज़रूर पहुँचे.
और इन विषयों पर आपकी क्या राय है ये आप हमें हमारे कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखकर ज़रूर बताइए.
युवा की कहानी, उन्हीं की ज़बानी.
अब सुनेंगे भारत की वाणी. नमस्ते.
नमस्ते.